HR point, move Kyrie to the shooting game. He is a shooter first. I agree with that. I just made the same comments when we came back from the break. From Corey, G-Money, I'm a Laker fan, and I only root. What he was saying, let me back up to that point he just made. I think he was saying keep Kyrie and bring in Chris Paul. You don't have enough money to keep all three of them guys. I mean, those are 3 max player deals. You're going to have to move one of them. Like, if you get Chris Paul on that team, somehow, if you get Chris Paul on that team, you're not going to be able to keep Kyrie Irving and all of them salaries. LeBron, Kyrie, and Chris Paul? Nah, that's not going to work. One of them would have to go. If they bring in Paul, that would mean you'd have to try to find a deal for Kyrie Irving. Yeah. And you bring Chris Paul with Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, you got the same damn thing you got in Golden State. Stacked team. They got too much in Golden State. It would be the equivalent to having Kyrie. It would be the equivalent to having Kyrie, Chris Paul, LeBron, and Paul George. Oh, boy. All right, when we get back from the break, we're going to talk to my man BP, get his reaction from an Oakland native. See what he got to say. More of your messages in the chat room. We got some football to talk about. The Atlanta Falcons show love to Mike Vick and to Roddy White in a ceremony on yesterday. We'll get into that. Don't go away. Back in 3 minutes to Doug Stewart Show.
Do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yup. Do I need to say anymore? Yup. Shake a leg and make this steady. Oh, the feeling that just re-hit me so. I will proceed to finesse this as if it was the baddest chick I ever talked to. Whoa, yeah, even though my clothes smell like Joe. See, I'ma let you know I got a vision of gold. Yeah, me and this mic. More than love is lust with an appetite. She offered the chain, so I offered the chain. Thought it made me look cold in the platinum thing. The rent done changed, we got to maintain. You know we got to keep a chunk of chain. It's something like a Range Rover. We keep the mobbing in the heater when the brain can blow. Don't get it twisted, baby, my salary ain't set. I do my dinner to get your cavity checked. And I mean no disrespect. Do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yo, do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yo, do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yo, you just rush the check, don't rush the bet. Freezing the waters, I want respect. To excel without excelling my last breath. Cause I have come to conquer the face of death. Yo, no faith is left in the face of death. With no trace of wealth, we face ourselves is coming. With no peace of mind, you find me gunning. With no sense of time, I found you running. This has just got more crazy, G. Call me a little 50 cent, the bullets won't faze me. Resurrection and creation, and God have blessed me. No pen and account on the paper, you can't check me. You gotta be so far that you won't neglect me. Like Big Homer said, you will respect me. Do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yo, do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yo, do I need to say anymore? Bet. Yo, say no more in case you don't know. So in case you know, the case is low. Even if you get a chance to take a stand and dance. Gotta remember the game is so advanced. 4 clicks from the mallet, it sounds like hoods. Realize you in the courtroom dancing with wolves. If I'm not my best, I won't rest till I am. I grind it out in the tin, eat my rhymes out of can. Say no more if I'm a man, I can. I won't stop till the full course, hill in my hand. So listen, it's better than I'm better than before. Like a few G's, you gon' know the scope, bro.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show, Tribute Tuesday. Boyz in the Hood soundtrack. As well as we mix in a little bit of Ice Cube as Ice Cube gets honored in Hollywood. I'll tell you more about that in about 10 minutes. My man BP is on the line. Brandon Peters, what up, homeboy?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, so I don't know if you can hear this in the background. We playing the track Ghetto Bird by Ice Cube. Why all the L.A. hip-hop music back in the day had that little whistle sound in the background? Where'd that come from, man?
That's the funk, man. That's the Ohio players, man. That's that. You know, all those guys grew up on it. All the producers grew up on it. So that's what they play.
Yeah. So I think I've heard that before, that a lot of the Ohio players' music, the P-Funk era, you know, is where Dr. Dre got a lot of his ideas about music from. And so you can hear it infused in all of the music from the early 90s, mid-90s, late 90s.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
DJ Pooh, Sir Jinx, all of them.
Yeah. So speaking of which, my man on the line right now is a hip-hop historian, sports writer, writes for Slam Magazine, Hoop Magazine, Playboy. He also has his own business ventures, day1radio.com. That's day1radio.com. On the line, my man Brandon Peters from the Bay Area. How excited, how happy are you, man? Y'all win y'all second ring in 3 years.
Oh man, I'm super juiced, man. I'm happy for those brothers, man. I'm happy for the organization. I've been a Warriors fan since I was 4 years old. So, and I'm 40 now. So I've gone through the bad times.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Long stretches of bad times.
Yeah, so I always tell people on this show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, Tribute Tuesday, throughout my life, for most of my life, man, the Warriors were one of the bottom of the pit organizations. Like, if a good team got mad at a player, they'd send them first to L.A., to the Clippers, then maybe Sacramento, and then third probably was Golden State. And so you guys have been on a historic run, and it doesn't even look like it's going to end anytime soon.
It's not, man. These boys are working on a dynasty, man. I got to give it up to Joe LeCobe and Bob Myers for putting this team together, man, because, you know, everybody will say what they say, but, you know, Kevin Durant and Sean Livingston, the only McDonald's High School All-Americans on this team, man. You know, KD is the only – we don't have no first draft picks on this team. You know what I mean? This team was literally built. Andre Iguodala and Kevin Durant are the only, like, would be high-profile free agents that came over. Everybody else was drafted, man. This was built. So, you know, a lot of people hate and they say what they say, but that's just the way, you know, that's just what we was living in. LeBron had won 5 championships in a row. They find some way to hate on him. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, I definitely know what you mean, because I guess you could probably include me as one of them haters. Not so much for the drafting of the players that they had. And everything was Gucci when they had Clay and they had Draymond and they had Steph. Nobody thought Steph was going to be the player that he's been in the NBA. Nobody. But the whole Kevin Durant thing, man, really puts a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't know how much you've heard of the show today, man, but it's just different the way that LeBron did it going to Miami and when KD came to Golden State. What say you on that whole thing? You know, I think it's different to an extent, but my thing is, and obviously I know a little bit more than the average fan just from covering the team and talking to guys, but this thing, it's not, I could see people's opinion if KD had said after they lost and were up 3-0 or whatever, 3-1, whatever it was, okay, I'm going to Golden State. This had been in the works for years, man. I started hearing KD to Golden State 3 years before it happened. Wow. You know what I mean? So this wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. And also, like, him and Iguodala, him and Curry were friends. Like, KD and Russ were not friends. Mm-hmm. So people keep saying, oh, he turned his back on. It's a business, man. It's basketball. The point of playing anything competitive is to win. Russell Westbrook will never win a ring if he continues to play the way he plays. We love watching him. He's an exciting player. He's a great player, but he doesn't make his teammates better. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we saw that all year long. We saw that when Zaza stepped on him and nobody came to his aid. You know what I mean? They don't rock with him. Right. At the end of the day, and there's talent on that team. You can't tell me that they don't have average to above average NBA players. The most hilarious thing I saw is he doesn't have a shooter. Well, y'all just traded Anthony Morrow. That's all he does is shoot. Yeah, that's all he's done everywhere he's been. Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, I hear what you're saying, BP, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show.
But Oklahoma City ain't got nothing outside of Russell Westbrook. And Westbrook put that team on his back this year, going to be the league MVP. And when last year, I keep going back to the point, and it's really a played point to make. And today it should be about Golden State. I agree with that. But last point on that, man, they were up 3-1. You just mentioned it a couple minutes ago. So how far could they have been from winning the championship if they were up on 3-1 on Golden State last year? All they had to do was finish their business. They would have been the favorite going into the finals. And then after they lose miraculously the first time in, I don't think that was the first time in the finals, the Western Conference Finals, that had happened. First time it happened in the championship. But how far could they have been being so close last year? They were right there because they would have been the favorite against Cleveland.
We see teams all the time look like they're going to be something and turn out to not be something. We saw this same team go to not the same team because they had Harden. We saw the same team go to the finals against the Miami Heat and win game 1 and then get blown off the court and never make it back until the Western Conference Finals until last year. So it's not like it's just an automatic given that you're going to get back there. Like, you cannot play ISO ball and not run plays.
Right.
And not play to your strengths and expect to win a championship. If Mark Jackson was still coaching this Warriors team, they'd be struggling to get out the second round.
Yeah. So you think that?
And that's not an indication on Mark Jackson. That's an indication on Mark Jackson and the coaching staff he put in place.
Right. Okay. So I was just about to ask you. Myself and a lot of people feel like that if Mark Jackson would have been the head coach of this team, they still probably would have did the same thing they did 2 years ago when they won their first ring, and last year. And this year, you think Steve Kerr was that much of an improvement as for what they do there with that organization, with the scheme, that much more so than Mark Jackson?
We've talked about this before. I think the last time I was on your show, probably like a year or so ago, we talked about it. Mark Jackson is a great motivator, man. Mark Jackson is not a great X and O's coach. Mark Jackson brought in guys who were subservient to him, who didn't, and it could have been that he didn't have the respect to bring in the guys that Kerr brought in. But if you look at it, Steve Kerr brought in a real coaching staff. Steve Kerr brought in Alvin Gentry, proven head coach. Steve Kerr brought in Ron Adams, the defensive architect behind Boston's last championship, and the defensive coach under Thibodeau. Steve Kerr brought in Luke Walton, a guy who had just retired 2 years before, so had played against most of these guys and could be the liaison between the players and the coaching staff. Like, it's chess. It's not checkers. Like, if I always tell people who bring this up to me, if you can find me one video or one picture of Mark Jackson holding a clipboard, drawing up a play during a crucial timeout, I'll give you all the money in my pocket.
Now, come on, man. This man called the plays. When they went to the side, they called the plays. This man drew up plays. Come on.
Find it. All
right, I'm going to look for it. How much money you got in your pocket?
The Warriors were running high school plays with them. That team was terrible offensively. They were running the elevator play. Who runs that in the NBA? Like, they literally ran 2 or 3 plays when Mark Jackson was the head coach. You had all that offensive firepower, but you would never know. It was like a gun without the bullet.
Yeah.
You bring in coaches that and I will give Mark Jackson 2 points that you can never take away from him. He brought a defensive mentality to the Warriors, which was never there before. Give that to him 100%. Secondly, he empowered Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and pushed them to be the players that they are. I will give him that. But Draymond didn't start under Mark Jackson. Draymond wasn't going to start under Steve Kerr. David Lee not got hurt. That was the turning point for this team.
Yeah, that's a huge turning point. And we're finishing up with Brandon Peters right now, writer for Slam Magazine, Hoop Magazine, as well as Playboy. That should be nice. Do you get invited to the Playboy Mansion every once in a while, man?
Not yet, man. Not yet. I'm working on it.
All right, so before I let you go, let's kind of put a bow on this. Looking at this team going forward, I said if they keep this squad intact, they could be viable and probably going to be the favorite. I don't see anything coming down the pike that's going to stand in their way as teams are constituted right now. This team should have a 5, 6, 7-year stretch where they're going to be in the conversation for an NBA championship. 3 things that I want to get your thoughts on, 3 players. Steph Curry is a free